Make sure you're only choosing this construction if you've already done the linear pair construction. In this construction, some of the directions will be intentionally incomplete because I kind of want you to figure out what you're doing with this program. So the other construction, which has complete instructions, should be done first. What we're trying to do in this construction is create one of these pictures where we have a set of parallel lines crossed by a transversal. And what we want to see is that the angles follow a certain pattern that we always see here, where some of the angles have one measure and all the other angles have the supplemental measure. We're going to do it in GeoGebra because we want this construction to be able to move. So step one is go to GeoGebra, select geometry, and what I want to start with is drawing a set of parallel lines. To draw a set of parallel lines, we're still going to start by drawing one line. So I select the line tool and click twice on the screen, and I just have a line. To create a parallel line, I can't just draw another line and hope it's parallel, because I can always move this and make them not parallel. So instead of that, I'm going to create a line that will stay parallel no matter what I do. If you go under More Tools, this tool right here is a parallel line tool. If I select that, then I can click on this line saying I want to make my new line parallel to this, but I want it to be over here. If I go back to the arrow, when I move one point, the lines stay parallel. So this is a set of parallel lines. No matter what I do, these lines are going to be parallel to each other. Now, the second thing I want to do is create a transversal. So we're going to draw another line in here. And just to make things easy, I'm just going to connect A and C. So that's my transversal. I can move this thing around. But no matter what I do to this picture, those two lines stay parallel. Now, the problem's not done. I want to be able to find the angle measures. Now, to measure some angles, I need a point. I need 3 points to measure an angle. If I want to measure this angle up here, I need to have a point here to click on for the measurement. So I have point B and A, and I need another point up here. So I'll create another point, make sure to click so that point stays on this line. If this point come off the line, then something's wrong. And then I'm going to measure this angle. Remember the angle measure tool from the previous construction? I just click on these 3 points. And if I want, I can move that number. If it's too crowded for me to see, I can click and drag the number out someplace where I can see it. Oh, got to be on the arrow tool to do that. I can drag the number out somewhere I can see it. If I want to change this angle, I can just simply click over here and change the color. You can do right click or alt click to get that. In order to measure all 4 of these angles, or all 8 of these angles, pardon me, I need to create more points and put in the angle measures. I will leave that. Here, after putting in enough points to have the angles measured, you can see at the halfway point for measuring all the angles, as I move this around, all these angles change. The program remeasures them, but notice these are all the angles that are supposed to have the same measure. So they all stay the same. No matter what I do to this picture, those 4 angles, pardon me, are all having the same measure, 130.9 in this case. I'm going to do the same for the other remaining 4 angles, and they should have the supplementary measure. Okay, now I put in the program to measure the other angles, and I can see that these angles, in my case here, they all measure 49.1, but what's most important is as I move this around, it recalculates, and now I got the 60.5 and 119.5. Those two add to 180. And all of one type of angle measure the same, and the other type has something different. Now, as you get to this picture, you're almost done, but the other thing we want to change here is that we have all these extra points in the picture I had to create in order to make these measurements. I don't want to see them anymore. I can make them disappear by, again, right-clicking on them. That's Alt-click, go under Settings, and uncheck the box Show Object. Now, that point that I just had, the point F, is now gone. The only points I want to keep here were the original 3 points, A, B, and C, the 3 points that actually move something in the picture. If you're not sure which points those are, if you grab a point and it just slides up and down the line, it won't move anything, that's a point I want to get rid of. So your job next, final job, is to get rid of those extra points. Just keep the 3 original. And okay, if you get it down the original, you get it down to a picture that looks like this, that moves around this way and has the correct measurements. Call your teacher over to check it. You should have it. You should be complete.